Good morning. It is lesson 3.5 today, linear equations with collecting like terms, and this is your very own Mrs. Smith right with you this morning. We're doing the math. So today we're going to kind of put together equations and we're going to combine the collecting like terms. So it's going to just really add another layer onto the equations we've been working on, and it will be these collecting like terms. Same thing still comes into play. You still have a balance. You got to keep things balanced. So I'm going to draw my line down the center, meaning you have one side and the other. And I'm going to pick up my highlighter and highlight that I have x plus 2x because those are like terms. As you know, this has a ghostly Gladys 1 in front of it. So it's really 1x plus 2x, which would be 3x. Equals, and then I'm going to pick up an orange highlighter on the other side because I also have some like terms there. And the like terms there, well, I think, there we go, are 5 plus 10. And those are constants. That's the fancy way to say them, but we're really just talking their numbers. 5 plus 10 is 15. So now that I've collected my like terms, I can solve. This doesn't happen to be a two-step equation. It's just a one-step equation. You can see that I need to isolate the variable, isolate the x, get it by itself. So I'm going to do the opposite, which is divide by 3. And what I do to one side, I do to the other to keep it balanced. So x equals 15 divided by 3, which is 5. Now, of course, you could go in and plug 5 in everywhere you see an x to make sure it checks out. All right, next one, number 2. I'm going to draw a line down the center. I'm going to look on one side and then the other and do some collecting of like terms. I see over here I have a 2x and a 3x, so I'm going to combine those two together. So I have a negative 6 plus 5x equals 29. Now from there's no other like terms to collect on one side or the other. So now I'm going to take care of this two-step equation. I need to get x by itself. It's got two buddies, negative 6 and 5. I get rid of the not so close buddy first. Always keep my best buddy who's closest to me around the longest. Those cancel. So I have 5x equals, and I have 29 plus 6, which is 35. Now I'm going to do the opposite, divide by 5, divide by 5. And so x is equal to 35 divided by 5, which is 7. Okay. Let's try a couple more. Again, line down the center. I'm going to collect some like terms. So I look on one side and the other. It looks like these are the same. So those x's I'm going to put together. I'm going to bring down my negative 3. I'm going to do nothing with that. And I have 100x minus 89x. So 100 minus 89. And of course, you can use your calculator if you need to, but this should be one you could probably do in your head, which would be plus 11x equals 118. And ladies and gentlemen, again, I have a two-step equation. So I got to isolate my variable, get x by itself. Let's get rid of the buddy. I'm going to add 3, and I add 3 to the other side to keep my equation balanced. Whoops, I thought I picked up black. Sorry about that. And then those cancel because negative 3 plus 3 is 0. Brings down my 11x, and then 118 plus 3 is 121. Now I'm going to divide both by 11 because 11 and x smushed together means multiply. So the inverse or the opposite would be to divide. So that would be 1. So that just leaves me x. And 121 divided by 11 is 11. All right, let's try another. So I put my balance down the center. I collect my like terms over here. So I just bring down 11. Notice I put the x on the right-hand side. Doesn't change a thing. Still the same thing that we need to take care of. So I have negative 4x plus 5x, which would just be 1x. And you can leave the 1 or you don't have to have the 1. And then I bring down my minus 2. And again, look at here, two-step equation. Most of them, that's what happens is you end up with, well, it is kind of a two-step equation, but technically it's going to be really a one-step, and we'll talk about that here in a second. So 11 plus 2 is 13 equals, those cancel, 1x. But technically, 1x is the same as just x. So really that ended up just being a one-step equation. We don't have to do any division there. So x equals 13. All right, let's try one more. So I'm going to put my line down the center. Now, check this one out. I have some like terms, and actually I have 3 to collect. Those are all constants, all numbers. So I'm going to put them together. So I have -6 plus 13 minus 7. So I have -6. Oops. Well, I don't know what happened there. There we go. Sorry about that. I have -6 plus 13, which would be 7. And then I have -7. Well, goodness, that ends up being a 0. Is that okay? Absolutely. And then I have a -2x. So I'm going to divide by -2 to isolate the variable, divide by -2, and that's certainly okay. So that's x equals, and I have 0 divided by -2. Well, 0 divided by -2 is just 0. Dun, da, da, da. All right, there's one more there. I think you got the idea. Collect your like terms first, and then do the equations like we've been doing. Have a good one.